G'day guys, it's Tom here with MYT Solar. We just finished up an install. We're starting this one on the roof because we're really liking how it looks up here. We have 2,000 watts of solar on this RV, 8 of the 250 watt rich panels. These are the new Onyx edition, which is just a matte black aluminum, which we love because that's the same color as our rails and it looks sweet. You can tell 2,000 watts. This is a 25 RDS from Outdoors RV and just absolute endless walking space on this roof, which is awesome for 2,000 watts. We probably could have squeezed another 500 here and put 2,500 watts, but the customer specifically said, I want a walkable roof. And we had the conversation. Once we got up here, I called him and I was like, look, we could go to 2,500 watts, but then things will get a little tight. You can imagine if I had a panel here, then the gap here is going to be pretty narrow. If I had a panel up there, that's going to be pretty tough. But pretty exciting because we put 2 charge controllers. It's very hard to run a second set of cable on an outdoors RV because you often come down and you're on top of a tank, which is deep in the underbelly, and we know how tight and well insulated that underbelly is around those tanks. But we were able to get a second set of cable down, which meant we could do 2 charge controllers. Got 4 in series over here to 1 charge controller and 4 in series over here to another charge controller. Love putting panels in series and keeping the volts nice and high and the amps nice and low, especially when they're on their own charge controller. Now the really neat thing is that it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon here, and from this 2,000 watts, we're still getting 1,000 watts. So just that amount of harvest throughout the day is just awesome to see. We'll go downstairs and show you the install downstairs. All right, so this is an Outdoors RV 25 RDS. Really, we do love this floor plan. We've done probably more builds on the 25 RDS than any other floor plan, and the 25 DVS, which is the 25 RDS in a backcountry series. So this is not the backcountry series. This does not have an onboard generator, which means it has a slightly bigger under the bed area, which meant that this customer was able to go with 4 330 amp hour Victron batteries, so 1,320 amp hours, which is as big as we've done on any outdoors RV, and I can't imagine there's many outdoors RVs with a more battery capacity than this rig, which is awesome. Here at the screen, right in the hallway, we've got our Touch 70 mounted. We can see what's going on. We're plugged in right now, so we're pulling in some watts from shore, but this is what I like to see in our solar. We have 838 watts coming in at 5:30 in the afternoon, and again, this is one of the huge benefits of going with series, is you're going to get charged later in the day. You may not have quite as much shade mitigation, but you're going to charge later and longer, and you're going to harvest more throughout the day than in parallel. That's a good amount of solar to be getting this time of the day. If we go into the screen, we know we're getting 820 watts from our solar. What we've actually done is we've gone and labeled the solar for curbside and street side. So right now we know we're getting 340 watts from the curbside panels and 485 from the street side panels, and of course that's because the sun's low and it's hitting the street side more right now. Pretty nice to see. Obviously back in this, we love the Touch 70 screen giving us all the information. You can see our other videos where we talk about how much we love this, but knowing what's going on is absolutely important, especially when it's all that nice solar. This is the pride and joy under here. Again, as I was saying, not a backcountry series, quite a bit of room under this bed. We've got 4 330 amp hour Victron batteries. We've got the MultiPlus 3000 charger inverter. We obviously do a lot of work with this bed to prep fitting this much equipment in. It's usually just 2 drawers and a shoe cubby. We frame this shoe cubby back out. We remove the drawers. We add venting in where the drawer handles were. Venting at the top of the MultiPlus, and it's working right now. I can feel the warm air getting pushed out, cold air getting sucked in. With the Victron system, like I said, we've got 2 charge controllers, so 2 150, 100 charge controllers. Those are actually a little oversized, and honestly we couldn't get our hands on a 150/70, so we put 150/100s in. Now, no problem oversizing the charge controller. Matter of fact, because they fit there so well, I actually think it's an advantage to have a 100 charge controller. 1,000 watts, which is what we've got feeding each charge controller, comes out to be about 70 amps. So a 150/70 would have worked for us, that 70 number being the amps. This is a 100 amp charge controller. It's bigger, and in that way, I think I prefer that. We've got a bigger heat sink, so this thing is not running at its max. It's running at 70 out of its 100 amps. So it's going to run a little cooler, bigger heat sinks. Not a bad option, sizing up on the controllers there, which we had to due to shipping delays. The Lynx Smart BMS. So one of the things about a full Victron system is this Lynx Smart BMS is speaking to all of the devices in the system. And if the batteries don't need charge, it'll turn the chargers off. If the batteries are too low to pull charge, it'll turn the things that draw power off. It's a very smart and sophisticated networked system. I talk about it all the time, but I really do love this Victron components in the connectivity. And connectivity meaning the actual individual devices being connected to each other in terms of when they're working and how they're functioning. But connectivity in terms of the screen, being able to see all of that data on the screen. And to go a step further, the Bluetooth app on your phone where you can see every single device in here. And to go a step further, putting the screen on the Wi-Fi so that you can see what the system is doing when you're not at it. It's a level of sophistication which only really exists in the Victron equipment, and is why we keep using it. But mainly, and one of my favorite things about this build is we're talking about 330 amp hour batteries. That's 1320 amp hours of power with the inverter. That's a lot of power to run off grid, and really nice 2000 watts of solar charging it back up. Really proud of this system, and I think this customer is going to love it. I think one of the great things about this install, along with all of the equipment, the beautiful Victron equipment, and obviously our nice install and the power that is there, I think one of the greatest things about this is the use of our rail system. The rail system allows us to get over the top of skylights. It allows us to have the panels closer together, bring them outwards from out to the side of the RV. You probably can't tell quite there, but we're not wider than the RV, but we're definitely wider than the white part of the roof. We come out a little bit because our rail system allows us to. The other thing is it gets the panels up off the roof some, so you can still service underneath the panels. You can remove the panels easily. All these huge advantages of going with this style of mounting. But one of the greatest things that I think is that we managed to fit 2000 watts of solar, which is a lot of solar for a small trailer like this. We fit 2000 watts of solar. And if you saw me up there before, I was walking around. There was plenty of room to get to the air conditioner. I didn't have to think about where my feet were going. I didn't have to step over a component. Just a nice, still walkable and serviceable roof all the way from the front to the back. Lots of room to get off the ladder. I know there's a lot of people out there with big rail systems that are cruising over the top of air conditioners. If you have a system like that, I'd love to see that. Let me know in the comments. Those are really cool. We always admire when people are able to put panels basically elevated above the air conditioner and cover the whole thing. What we do with these is a little different. We focus on keeping the roof walkable, keeping the panels, yes, elevated off the roof, but not so far elevated off the roof. And we're really happy with how this system works for us and our customers. Thanks for watching. This is Tom with MYT Solar. Let us know if you'd like an install or anything like that. If you want to chat about solar, let me know in the comments. I'll always try to get back to you in the comments. Thanks for watching. Cheers.